Coach, obviously we'll talk about the NCAA tournament and that, the pairing you have there and that kind of stuff. But I want to go back to Kansas City first, and you had a couple of really interesting games there, of course, first with TCU. The first thing I have to ask is just the first thoughts you had, the bench had when Bain hit that shot and then the regulation to send you guys to overtime.
When sometimes in coaching you can say something to kids, and in the heat of the moment, they get a little nervous because we've all seen dudes say foul, and they foul when they're about to shoot the three, and then now if he makes it, it's a 4-point play. And we missed. We're supposed to foul. We jog back, and we get a three put on our head. So that's kind of what happened. And they said it. Cardi said it in interviews. All those guys, and they were like, he got close to that three line, and it's harder. What do you do? You know? And we've won a lot of games by not fouling, just trusting our defense, and just saying, you know what, we're gonna trust what these kids work on every day. But in that case, we decided to foul, and we didn't.
Yep. But what was the mood, I guess? I mean, I know what it was, the fans in the arena, that kind of stuff, but the mood on the sideline right away as you get ready for overtime after a shot like that.
Coach wasn't. I mean, we had to get their focus back because guys were shouting at each other. You're supposed to no, you. And so you just got to get them back and get one voice going in that huddle and in that timeout or after the regulation and just talk to them. So once we did that, we just told them to get a defensive mindset, and we knew they were going to go to Vlad and just try to get Mac out of there. But I thought Mac did an awesome job of playing until the final seconds, basically when he did foul out. When you watch that play, I was shocked it was called because it was completely clean up top, and it is what it is. He missed 3 free throws. Actually,
he sure did. Yep,
which is kind of unusual, but it was good for our guys, and they fought hard, and it was fun, and then to see how those guys responded in the locker room and coach, and President Myers and excitement, and Gene in the locker room. That was important for our guys to see.
When you look at the brackets and you can see a list of where the committee ranks, 1 through 68, how they seeded teams, it appears you guys were probably safe without that win anyway. But was it? You talked about the mood in the locker room. Was it a pretty big relief to think, man, this is another great top 20 RPI win, neutral site? To really think, we're probably safe now for the tournament.
You know what? Coach had convinced them we were in, so they weren't. Yeah. It was more so that we felt disrespected that everything we've seen, they were such higher on the seed line, and for us, our guys were upset and they're like, okay, we split with these dudes. All right, let's beat them again and then see where it falls after that. I think it was more of that. The next one was you're in 100% if you beat the Jayhawks. But Coach convinced them, and we were like, okay, we need to beat these guys just, to make sure our seed is higher. Right.
You move to the next to the Kansas game. Everyone knows the story by now, but of course Dean doesn't play. Barry goes down less than 2 minutes into the game. I don't know if what you can say and can't say about what was really said on the sideline and some of the verbiage used, I'm sure. But really, what was the reaction when you guys had put all that work in to get ready and then lose Barry that fast into the game?
The first reaction is you watch the players come to, they took forever to actually get down to our side, and Cartier's about to cry. I'm like, what? He goes, his eyes bleeding. It's like, so that's. But the good thing about it's about how they feel about each other, right? And obviously Barry's the leader, and we were just those 4 guys came in on our side, and we're just trying to talk. Coaches on the other end, and I just kept saying, hey guys, one voice, let's go, stop. Yep. Think about it, let's just relax. And we were shell shocked because he didn't come back in. I think it affected them. Because they were like, I don't think Barry's going to play anymore. Right. And that's how when they got the lead. Yep. And we do a lot of things where in practice where it's a disadvantage drill, where you go 5 against 4, 4 against 3. Yeah. And just having those trust in those drills and saying it to them, and we're at a disadvantage. We're 2 down now. Yeah. We've never done 2 down. It's always been 1 down. 1 man down, and but then we just talked about next man up and just going and playing, and Coach said go hoop. That's all you can do because we spent that whole night, and we had the longest walkthrough ever because we had to put people in positions that we knew wouldn't be in those same positions that they had practiced all year, and putting some offensive things together for Dean, X, and Barry to be involved. And all of a sudden, all of those are gone within a minute, 2 minutes of the game. So we didn't have anything without Dean and Barry in it. That is something you can't plan for. But you gotta trust our guys' grit and determination, and being able to cut it to 2, and then to have some timely turnovers and some tough calls, and that led to them getting away from us. But I think once we just got them calmed down and let them, hey, Barry's not coming back in, guys, let's move forward. It was a relief to them, because now they're just like, okay, we just gotta have an open gym mentality, and we just gotta play.
You kind of already alluded to it, but you guys were down 13 at halftime. You get down 16 in the second half, and then you guys cut it to 2, of course, on an alley-oop dunk to Xavier Sneed. And that stretch of basketball, no Barry Brown, no Dean Wade, against a number 1 seed, in the tournament, at a place that was, in favor of them crowd-wise. Was that one of the best stretches you guys played this year, to cut 14 points off that lead and come all the way back against those guys?
Well, I think when you look at it, there was times when there was no juniors in there.
Right.
It was like a freshman or sophomore.
Yep.
And that's to their credit. And we just said, hey, you guys are playing extremely well right now. And we didn't say, hey, it's
sure
3, under 2 freshmen and 3 juniors. We didn't project that to them, but it happened. And, that's the beauty of sports. Like, anything can happen. When you just trust, and I think they thought we were going to lie down a little bit. Okay, Barry ain't playing. We're going to smoke these dudes and Dean, and it didn't happen that way. So it's a credit to our guys, and it's a credit to Coach for just keeping them locked in and believing up until a point.
We'll talk about Mac here in a second, because we'll have to, but I want to mention something. I think Jeff was the first to point out to me after the game against Kansas to look at Wainwright and McGurl's stat sheets and see they combined to play 55, 56 minutes and not turn the ball over a single time. How proud were those guys, were you, just the way they played and kind of being thrust into, for both of them, easily a career high in minutes?
Right, and it was great, because we were after, you got to get a shot up against, you can't turn it over, and you can't have, the shot blocked. You can't have a loose ball out of bounds and we didn't have it during that stretch. And that's a good thing, because when you got dudes running around and get over there, that was going on. Dudes were yelling, Barry's yelling at dudes in the wrong place. We're like, Barry, chill, So no, that's the kind of things that happen. And then you add X's 5 assists, no turnovers for the game. Like, those dudes are out there a lot, especially X and my play career high minutes. And Mike comes in and they're trying to heat him up and turn him over, and he didn't turn it over. So that's a good thing.
Yep. And then Mac, of course, had a really, really good game against TCU. And I remember us saying on our our podcast, whatever, it's like, man, if he can even get close to replicating that, they'll be in great shape. And then he goes and gets 29. I think he was 13 and 19 from the field, and really seemed unguardable. I know they didn't have Azubuike, but really seemed unguardable in there. And I know you've been waiting all year for this, from him. But how good was he in this tournament?
I think when you look at what he did to those 2 dudes who are supposed to be way, way better than him,
right?
It's a credit to him. And when you score like that, and in the trenches, that's not a fluke. You've seen guys hit 7 threes and never duplicate 2 in a game,
right?
But this guy was in the trenches and won hand-to-hand combat with a dude, and my footwork versus yours and my toughness versus yours, and it was pretty clear. Like he kicked those dudes' butts down there, and that was impressive. I think for him, we got to throw him the ball, and that's something that, like Mac, been trying to convince our guys, and some of it is when those 2, Dean and Barry, clicking, where should it go? Know, and now we finally got to really just do Mac, and Mac was pretty good. And I think you're going to see him continue to grow his confidence level, and I think we'll look for him more in transition early and get him the ball, because we were messing with Dean yesterday, and like, Mac's got way more stuff on the block than you, Dean, and especially in the boot now, you can't even move. But Mac's like, Mac is like, I'm better than Dean now, Coach. I'm like, whoa. But you want that from your kids. Yeah. Like, that's the beauty of all this stuff, is convincing them how good they are.
Right.
And convincing Mac, you're that good.
a really important question here. Have you guys talked, Barry, about maybe wearing like Horace Grant style goggles?
You know what? Maybe Kareem versus Horace Grant.
Right.
You know, James Worthy type.
Oh, James Worthy. Yeah.
I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I just know that he said he's back, so that's all.
Yep.
You know, when he came, you know, after the loss, you know, people are down. Barry just strolls in with sunglasses on. Everybody starts laughing. He goes right to he's just who he is, and he's like, "I'm good, fella." So his normal stuff he does to keep the mood light was back. So as long as he wasn't around moping, I think it was good for our guys to see that.
I'm curious, you know, we talked last week in the basketball complex, and you said some really good stuff about the team being, you know, worthy of support and deserving support. And that loss to Kansas, I think Jeff and Grant would say the same thing. I don't think we ever saw the site, you know, the message board so positive and complimentary of you guys after a loss. And then the same thing on social media, whether it's on Twitter or whatever. I'm just curious if you got the same sense that people really were proud of what you guys did in Kansas City and really appreciated the effort you guys put forth.
You know, I was, you know, for us, we were just proud of our own guys.
Yeah.
That wasn't a moral victory, and we told them, this is, you know, don't be happy you did this because this can be who you are. And for us, we were just happy that they competed. That was more of our focus. And, you know, we didn't go to the social media, like we didn't go check it and go look at it because, you know, we felt bad because we had a lot of stuff going on with Dean. We were like, oh my God, we were like, that's what our worry was.
Yeah.
What were people going to say about him? You know, and there was, you know, we got doctors that are in this Texas, like, you know, when they knew Dean didn't do the jump ball, at the last overtime, they were like, oh, what the hell's going on? Something's wrong with Dean. And, you know, and it is what it is, you know. And, you know, him gutting it out, being tough is a credit to him. And I've been an adamant dude about this dude is from here. He needs to be flooded with love, support, because that's what it's about. You know, when I grew up in Indiana players were gods. Like, that's who they were. They were good. Purdue, the same thing. The region, you know, at that region where Purdue is, those dudes were considered at such a high level. This dude is the same way. Like, this dude is a first-team all-conference guy, which I've been saying for a long time. The guy's really good. This guy's a potential NBA guy. The guy dates a girls basketball player who's actually good. Who's actually
We had this
good.
discussion last night, so we didn't know. We were curious. So,
I mean, what more could you love in basketball, real life, Kansas style? We got that. And those things are hard to believe, but true.
Right.
And, you know, Dean's as good a kid as I've ever been around. That's a good player. He was not as loud and crazy as Barry was in the Kansas game. Right. But he was
still
really
animated,
good.
though, yeah.
He was really good in timeouts. And his deal would be come up to Mac and the bigs and just say something real soft so they could only hear. Barry was like, what are you doing? Like, Barry was like yelling at dudes and telling them where he needed to be, and coach, don't run that, and coach, what is he doing? Like, you know, that's who he is. Right. So that was good to see them be who they were on the sidelines, you know, trying to help our guys.
The most animated I think I've seen Dean all year, other than, you know, of course, plays on the floor, was late in the game. You guys were down 4, and there was a stretch where it looked like KU traveled and passed out for a 3 and hit the 3. And Dean Wade was adamant on the bench that was a travel. I mean, that was the most excited I'd seen him, again, not on the floor in a long time. But, you know, looking ahead to the tournament, I feel annoying even asking this question to start with, so everyone's going to talk about how fast after seeing the pairing did you think Marcus Foster?
I mean, it was as fast as Wes could text. Crazy, right? Wes texts immediately. That's not what he said, but I'm just short, crazy, right? And I was like, yeah, and it was immediate and normal for the NCAA to have storylines and stuff like that. It was weird because when we know him, as family, like so that is the sad part about it, is that we immediately thought, like, dang, you know, that's our former guy, and it was never a level of, you know, negativity towards the situation. because all of our guys were texting. It was like,
right.
It was the whole deal. Like, oh my goodness, this is going to be great. Like, and that's the storyline. And but it immediately goes to Creighton. We know, like, Missouri Valley, old Missouri Valley foes. That's what we thought about. Like, that side of it too. Mac, and we've known these guys and how they've played forever, and that was it at the time. Then we looked at the number one seed of,
it happened
of
again.
the whole.
If you were fortunate to win,
the whole NCAA in Virginia. They're sitting up there looming, and then there's Nigel. So we
yep.
But this is what it's about. You have fun. It's as a kid you grow up and you had that one cool teacher that you knew when you get to his class you're watching the NCAA tournament in his class.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what this is about. It's about kids, teachers, guys taking off work, saying they're sick to go to the pub, sports bar to go watch all day. Those are the fun things that make this time of year, especially those first 2 days, are phenomenal. Are some of the most fun I've ever had in sports, is being a part of Selection Sunday leading up to the first rounds of the NCAA tournament, and those are fun times, very memorable times.
You've told us all year about the trajectory you think your team and your program is on, but we asked the players and Coach Weber this yesterday. Now it's super apparent. 2 years ago you missed the tournament with all those guys as freshmen, and Cam got hurt, and then last year you make the tournament, first 4 win a game there, and then go lose in the round of 64. This year finished 4th in the league, 10-8 in the league, solidly in the tournament, single-digit seed. So I guess the question I'm asking is just how proud are you of the really clear ascension they've made the last 3 seasons?
I think when you programs, you want to build them, and I've told you before. When guys left, we started over with this group, and I don't think this group was ever given a chance because they were mad that those guys left.
Right.
And so now, when you look at them, they've all been really good students. They've all never been in trouble, and now they're first, second team guys. All conference and the leaders of our locker room. And when you build something, you hope it goes that way. And fortunately for us, it has. Now, what we can't control is the injuries at the end, and how the magnitude of them we don't know, and the seriousness of them we don't know. But we know that those dudes are going to go down and fight and win the next time they get on the court. So that's a good thing. And I think that we're in a good place, and we're in a place where you have really good guys back in the same uniforms.
Right.
And when you have your core coming back, older teams are good across the board in the country, and it bodes well for us.
To get way ahead, do you feel like you guys as a whole, that your roster's in pretty good shape? Because next year it's easy to talk about how many guys are coming back because, it's everybody. But even 2 years down the line, you have 3 guys who start off this team with X and Mac and Cardi, and then I'll forget names, but McGurl, of course, had a great game in Kansas City. Stockard's shown a lot. James Love, Nigel Shad before he got hurt. Even looking 2 years out, you have guys who are producing right now that you would still have on the roster.
Yeah, and that's, the build has been young. The build has been try to do it high school kids that we think fit us, and that's the key. And so, when you do that and you get kids who are coachable, good students, we feel we can mold and help get better. Those are the things that Coach has been known for, and the patience of it. Like we're very fortunate to be able to be patient with the juniors, because we knew that if we could get to them being a little older, we would be good, and we did, and we got a chance to do that.
I'm curious about preparation for this week. I know Creighton's a really, really good basketball team, and that's going to be an incredible challenge for you guys. But how much then prep does any part of your staff have to put in, for Virginia in case? Because of course there'd be a super quick turnaround if you're fortunate enough to get that first win against Creighton.
Well, our staff's just split. Half is doing this and half is doing that, and to Coach's credit, we understand how to prepare and what it takes to get to the next one.
Right.
And when you're in the 8-9 seed, and there's absolutely no disrespect to who Virginia's playing.
Of course, yeah.
No one has ever beaten a 16's ever.
Right.
But whatever it is. So we really know who we're preparing for on that other side, and just getting the Creighton stuff done and the Virginia stuff done.
Is it, I guess, just interesting is maybe the word about the kind of polar opposites those two teams might be on paper, Creighton and Virginia, and how it'd be huge, one extreme to the other, if you're fortunate to play both those teams in the next week or so?
Oh, it's completely. One's high-paced, offensive efficiency high, where you're trying to, 13 seconds per possession, the shot's got to go off. They're not even getting to 15 a lot. In Creighton, that ball's gone. They're trying to score quick and early, whereas Virginia's going to grind you offensively with good slow-paced offense motion and then not let you score.
Yep.
And fist fight you, punch you, and kick you on the defensive end. And, so it's completely opposites, and it's something we hope happens, because when you in the NCAA tournament, the depth of what you do shows.
Right.
And sometimes you think you're ready for this type of thing, and you're really not, because we've never seen that before. But we, in our league, how it was this year, we've seen everything.
Right.
Fast-paced offense. We've had to beat people in the 50s. So, those type of games where it's low scoring, the Texas game at our place, even TCU, it was a grind, and it's a defensive battle, and that we understand that you have to win different ways in the NCAA tournament.
And I think the last question we'll have for you this week, and we really appreciate you making time for us, by the way. I mean, I know you're super busy with what's going on this week, but you go into this tournament now, and I know you wish you that Dean and Barry were 100% and had nothing going on, but you've got a first team All Big 12 player, you've got a second team All Big 12 player, you got Mac, who made the All Big 12 tournament team, X, who's at times of course played like a Big 12 type of guy, and is capable of giving you 15 and 7, 15 and 8 anytime, and then Cardi has had games where he gives you 20. Again, assuming health and that kind of stuff, is this as balanced as starting five, or as dangerous, I guess, the collective group starting five as you've had here? I mean, maybe since the first or second season.
Well, since the first season, yeah. Because, obviously that was a good group, and they were really old. The second year we had a lot of freshmen.
Yeah.
And obviously one of them was a star, but he was still a freshman. This group is balanced, and it's more stacked the right way, like our first year, where you got some older, middle, young, and this is where it's at with this group. So, we like our guys. We've said it all along. With those three coming back, and next, from the very beginning, I don't know how you can pick us that far down,
right?
Because we basically have 4 starters coming back off a team that went to the tournament, and it for a while it was motivation, and then it wasn't, because we knew we were better than that. And, finished 4th, and really we should have finished higher. They know it. We know, like, we had some games that we knew they were there for us to get, and didn't happen. But we like our group, and that's the biggest thing when you can coach the guys that you like to get up and see, and can't wait to coach every day. That's a good thing.
Yep. Well, Coach, again, we really do appreciate the time you've given us again this week. We really look forward to seeing you guys in Charlotte, and sincerely do wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you.